Hey everyone, this is Andy from Tennis with Andy. So today I'm going to show you some practice footage of me practicing my two-handed backhand and using the ball machine. So one thing that I'm really aiming for here is want to get some good reps, and whenever you're practicing, I always like having a very targeted practice. So I put two targets here, probably about 1.5 meters from the baseline as well as the sideline. And so just aiming for those spots. So one thing that I've struggled with as a tennis contributor is that I feel like there are so many better tennis coaches out there than me. I wouldn't even consider myself a tennis coach. It's sort of the imposter syndrome whenever you get a new job and you're like, oh, am I qualified to do this? And that's sort of the reason why I shied away from really commenting on technique. But one thing that I've realized is that my perspective is unique, and the fact that I'm a recent convert to the two-handed backhand. I think I've been using it consistently now for 2 years, and I watch and follow a lot of tennis. I could definitely give you tips in terms of what I'm thinking around my two-handed backhand, as well as the strategy that I'm using. So with this initial practice, my focus has been really on the takeback. So the takeback, so I'm trying to, I try and model my backhand after Djokovic. So really going with that C-shaped takeback, keeping the hands away from the body, so giving it a nice big space between the hands and between my hands and the racket and my body. And then really leading in with my right arm, so letting my right arm lead in as I sort of treat this like a one-handed backhand per se. And as you notice, like as I'm getting a bit looser, I even let go of my left hand during my follow through. So that's something that you'd see a lot with Ferrer, for example, or even with Bjorn Borg back in the day. And it's just a sign of like once you've contacted the ball, like the follow through is basically the easiest way for you to slow down and recover, so that the smoothest transition. So one thing that I really worked on in this practice was, before I used to think that once I start to get tired, maybe I should stop with the ball machine, but it's actually good for me at least, to continue during fatigue, because what happens in the match conditions, and what I've noticed in my own match play, is when I get tired, then like you really need to. That's why you really need to hone in, and like you need to be able to hit those 10, 15 rally shots, because although they're just one shot, it helps like trigger the next series of events. So one thing I've noticed, so with fatigue, for me, I get loose, right? And for me, getting loose in my feet is not a good thing. Like I want to keep my footwork strict, and that's something that I think I really do well on my backhand in terms of footwork, because it's something where it's not as natural to me, the two-handed backhand. So I'm very mechanical, so really focus in on my footwork. So want to keep that same good footwork, but then the arms get loose, and that's really good. So like you find that your arms are getting loose, so you have, at least for me, I'm getting a much natural drop, racket drop, and getting into slot a bit better than when I started. So yeah, that's the key for me. So really focusing on those targets, and focusing on my footwork, and letting the arms do the work. Letting the arms release naturally. But at the same time, like once you're fatigued, you kind of find out like what's your, I'm no longer thinking about, okay, I need to do this and this with my arms. Like you just kind of let them do what they're supposed to do, and then you get into what I feel like is my natural stroke. So at the beginning, again, I said I was trying to model my stroke after Djokovic. So again, taking it with the C-shaped takeback. But then towards the end, you see a little bit more of the WTA style, where you're trying to mimic a bit more of the lefty or the offhand forehand. So that's where you see a little bit more, instead of a C, you're seeing me take a little bit more of a loop. Both are effective, but it was just, I wasn't trying to do it on purpose. It's just what my body did in order to get the ball over being fatigued. So this has been a good practice, and again, when you have the opportunity, whether it's your forehand, backhand volleys, really put up some targets and try and mess around and just really, I don't know, for me, just really let the racket do the work. Let your body propel you into the shot, and really keep the footwork nice and strict. So, all right, this is first of maybe many stroke shots, and like you're gonna see me develop because I'm definitely still a player in development. So I'll show you my backhand. I'll show you my forehand, which I've always been shy about, but I'll show that to you, and serve, which is definitely a work in progress. But if you have any comments, just leave them below. I take any constructive criticism, and please go ahead and like and subscribe if you like content like this, and I'll try and show some match play as soon as I get an opponent to play against. So play hard, see results. This is Andy from Tennis with Andy.